It is Monday, May 11th, 2026, and we've got a new angle. What do you think? Drop a comment down below. I'm Connor Boyd, also known as Moschino Dorito on the internet, and I am joined, as always, by my great friend and sport fanatic, Billy Nayden. Billy, hello!
Connor. The Eastern Conference Finals is upon us. The Knicks swept the 76ers.
Woo!
The Yankees are struggling, giving us our first real controversies of the season. Hockey is going. UFC is going. There's all kinds of stuff to talk about. Who's excited?
Can we raise hands? I'm excited. Yeah. I'm very excited, Billy. We've had a mythic week, I would describe it as. There's been some things that happened in this week that I think will be talked about for years. Multiple things that will be talked about for years and years. And I want to get into all of them, but I usually say, let's start with baseball. And when we start with baseball, we usually start with our baseball team, the New York Yankees.
Not a fun weekend, Connor.
No, not a fun weekend, but if you believe in yourself, you can find some positive takeaways. But yeah, not a fun weekend. I don't know. I see these things coming. People they're lulled into this state of just like, oh yeah, that's probably the '98 Yankees was the last time I saw a team this good. Like people are saying all kinds of stuff, and then the moment you get shown that you are not the best baseball team, or that weekend you're not the best baseball team, the sky's suddenly falling, and that's not necessarily how I feel about it. But yes, Jacob Misiorowski in the first inning throws 10 and only 10 pitches at the following miles per hour velocity: 102.4, 103.0, 102.8, 102.7, 103.2, 103.3, 103.3, 103.5, 103.1, and 103.6. The man was basically sitting at 103 miles per hour on his fastball after the first pitch of the game. I'm not blaming really any team for maybe not showing an offensive, festival when Jacob Misiorowski's on the mound. That was unlike anything I've seen in a minute. That was like, that Mason Miller level of like, oh shit.
It reminded me of the first time we saw Aroldis Chapman, play with the Cincinnati Reds, right? He comes out, he's throwing like close to 105. I think the big thing for me with this, Connor, is like, you're exactly right. It's super, super impressive. But when you get kind of these small increases in velocity for a pitcher, I think we tend to overlook them. Like, oh, if he's throwing 97, what's 100? If he's throwing 100, what's 103, right? Like, what's the difference? And like, the reality is you have fractions of a second anyway to decide, to read the pitch, to figure out if you should swing or not, and then to actually execute the swing. If you get those extra 3, 4, 5 miles an hour on top of what you're typically used to seeing from a velocity standpoint, that is monumental. I mean, game-changing in terms of the reaction time you have as a hitter. So I'm not only not surprised that we struggled, but you're not ready for that even by May. That is something that, like, if you're going to hit that ever at all, it's going to come late in the season when you've had lots and lots and lots of reps. So you have that situation. You have 2 extra innings games that we lost that could have gone either way. The Brewers are just a really tough team to play, especially at home, because their pitching is so good.
Yeah.
And it was on display this weekend.
Yeah, and their relievers are also disgusting. Abner Uribe is one of them that's really good. Ashby also. I was like, fuck, that guy's sick. I mean, it for me in baseball, or really in any sport, but especially baseball, I think I just love the sport so truly that when a team is just fully shitting on you, sometimes if it's a team like the Brewers, you're kind of just in awe of how much talent's on display at certain points. But yeah, and like to stay on that, I mean, velocity conversation, 98 like these guys are getting a lot of reps at 98, 97, 96, 95.
Which is very hard to throw a baseball, like,
right.
even at the major league level. Like, I think we've become numb to the velocity conversation.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, if you can locate 96, 97, if it has any sort of movement on it at all, that's really hard to hit.
Yeah, that's rare air, too, just talent-wise, if you can locate a pitch at that velocity. But it's like, that's the majority of their reps. They're not getting reps sitting above 101, Billy. Like,
I think you're probably having a hard time finding a pitching machine
that's
that
what
goes
I'm saying.
105 plus, right? Like, you're not even able to get reps in the cage.
You're having to
speed.
literally stand closer to the cage, or like closer to the machine on purpose to even get close to that. Yeah, I mean, but also at the same time, you know, if you're thinking in a playoff mentality, it's like, yeah, okay, like a 5-game series, like that team wins right there. I mean, they just swept us, but I mean, I don't know. You see that again, I think you get a little bit of a different outcome. You see Cody Bellinger hit one, get his bat on it. You see Judge basically fouling off, almost gets, like, some of these were just flyouts. It's not impossible. These guys do see this, a handful now in pretty much every season, especially if you start to see some relievers come out in higher leverage situations. You're seeing 100 a lot more often. But yeah, it was one of those situations where it was like Yankees just ran into a good team, and to me the first win was like Fried just did not have it. Fried's line was, so Mizorowski 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 11 Ks. Right, Fried comes out, struggles immediately, 6 innings pitched, which is impressive. I mean, he was just walking people in home practically at a certain point. Still 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, but 5 earned runs, 3 walks, and 5 Ks. Yeah, that ended up in a 6-0 Yankees loss. But
here's the reality, Connor. This is going to happen.
Right.
This is baseball, and like basically every baseball team ever loses a third of their games.
Right.
Every single one. Ever. The best teams to ever play the sport lose about a third of their games at a minimum, right? The other part of this is it's early May. I don't need to treat every single game in May like it's a playoff game. Mm-hmm. I just don't think it's useful. I think it's useful for this team to take a couple lumps, get at bats, have young guys play.
Yeah.
And get guys reps so that by October, you're so sure what your winning formula is, what your best mix of guys is based on a matchup, that you're not thinking about any of this. I'm okay losing in May if we get closer to that. Mm-hmm. And I do think we figured things out. I do think there's stuff to take away from this series that we can change over the course of this season. And excuse me, we got to see a very exciting rookie debut out of Spencer Jones, who is a guy who Yankee fans have wanted to see for a long time.
Yes, I was extremely excited about that. I was going to get to that because he went 1 for 9, but his one hit was a really solid RBI single, and he's looking great in the outfield. But, the dominating loss was not all 3 of the games. I mean, the 2 games that we did lose, they were walk-off losses, but at the same time, it's like Cam Schlittler pitched well. Rodon didn't pitch that great, but Rodon's line was 4.1 innings pitched, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 walks, 4 Ks.
But that's a guy coming back from injury. I'll give him 2 starts to figure it out, and then if he starts to look bad still, I think we have a conversation about it, right? Mm-hmm. But for me, I thought the 2 starting pitchers in the last 2 games were good. I thought the bullpen was relatively good, especially because they got a lot of usage over the 3 games. And I think it came down to a couple of plays. I mean, Tim Hill makes that blunder at third.
That's a tie game if he throws it to first. I mean, it's like you get the fly out, it's 2 outs. It's you go into another inning tied. I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, Boone said it. It's like this is the thing I don't get. why get all this influx of positive data and like, yo, see you, bro. Why get this influx of positive data about your team? You're tangibly seeing them play a style of baseball, and you're tangibly seeing the organization manage itself differently than you have. Why are you taking all that, and then the first time, like, yeah, you get beat, it's like you've just thrown that all out the window, and it's doom and gloom. It's like the bullpen is like, I'm pretty sure second or something in the majors, something crazy like that. And yeah, they got beat. I was stunned. It's like, that doesn't happen a lot. Bryce Terang is a good player. I mean, he got David Bednar. He hit him fucking dead center. It went just over the wall. And it's like, fuck, that is baseball. Like, I'm really not trying to make a cop-out. But, like, I just wasn't, my heart wasn't broken. My heart was more broken during our, like, 7-game losing streak where it seemed like they were just making mental errors and shit and they couldn't hit. That was way worse than this, where it was 2 competitive losses, one where we just got dominated. Fried couldn't pitch. Rodon's coming back. Schlittler pitched amazing. That guy's literally the lead Cy Young candidate. And this guy popped out of nowhere last September. And we got another guy who might be coming at the deadline or later in the season, Legrand, or I forget how you say his name. Legrand. He's disgusting. I mean, like, all these guys are getting called up. You got Spencer Jones. I mean, listen, Spencer Jones, 1 for 9, 1 RBI, 5 Ks and a walk. I think that kid is going to be good. His attitude, people are getting mad about, like, oh, he's just kind of like this happy-go-lucky kid. I'm like, the kid can hit like a fucking monster. If you can keep a good mood and play this game with all the failure that it comes with, you're going to be pretty damn good if you have that kind of mindset.
I don't disagree with you. I think there's certainly a lot to like there in terms of especially his fielding, but his power as well. I think it's a guy who has a shot to be really good at this. My worry, and it was my worry about a guy by the name of Aaron Judge when he came up, and that seemed to work out okay. But Spencer Jones has a strikeout rate from the minor leagues, like right around the mid-30s. Basically, every year he's been in the minor leagues. He's in the mid-30s for his strikeout rate. That number will go up basically 4.5% to 5% when you come to the majors on average. You can't strike out 40% of the time and stay in the majors. So he's got to figure out plate discipline, pitch recognition at a higher level, which, great news, you got a guy who looks and plays just like him and is the best in the world, Aaron Judge, in right field. And you have another guy, Giancarlo Stanton, who's going to be a great asset to learn from there too.
Yeah.
But 5 Ks over 9 at-bats over the course of a 3-game series, that does worry me. That does give me a little bit of pause for a guy who when he came up, I said, man, I hope he doesn't strike out as much as he does in the minors. And it looks like it could be worse. But the other part that's a little bit worrisome is you have guys, the 3 guys I'm really looking at, Trent Grisham, Jazz Chisholm, and Jose Caballero. They're all playing a little bit below where they've been at historically. They're all a little bit, a notch or several notches in the case of probably Jazz and Grisham, where they've been throughout their career. And so I still have faith these guys will bounce back. I still have faith that it's early enough in the season. But if I had a circle, I'm not worried about, a bullpen that lost close games, or Carlos Rodon who didn't look great in his first start, right? Fried had an off day. That'll happen. These are guys who have kind of struggled for a decent sample size of games now.
Yeah.
And you start to ask, okay, if Grisham continues to struggle, when Dominguez comes back, does he go into the lineup, right? Jazz continues to struggle. Do you look at playing Volpe at second base and calling him up, right? Do you look at bringing him to play shortstop if Caballero continues to struggle? Like, that middle infield production, really you're talking about, I know Grisham bats 1 a lot, but you're really talking about kind of 7, 8, 9 type hitters, that bottom of the lineup. That's the place we got to get more production from because, like you said, I think the relief help is on the way. The pitching help will work itself out. We got to figure out, we got to find a way to make sure that our lineup is dangerous 1 through 9. Because if you look at the games that the Yankees truly dominated, throughout April, that's why it happened. They were able to dominate 1 through 9.
JC Escarra is getting like fucking hits with runners in scoring position and shit. I mean, it's like, it's kind of stuff that doesn't happen a lot for us. That we usually are like winning these games when somebody just steps up. Ryan McMahon's had huge impact over a lot of these games. And to Cabby's credit, I mean, this series 3 for 9, 2 walks, got a run in. I mean, it wasn't a really huge outing offensively for the Yankees in Milwaukee, and that's just really due to just incredible pitching on Milwaukee's part. Goldschmidt, though, 3 for 6, 2 RBIs, a homer, and a walk. He just loves hitting in Milwaukee. But yeah, I mean, the bullpen, I'm not really too worried about. I feel like they are just so deep pitching wise. Someone will be there to pitch. I mean, it's like you're at least from a depth perspective stacking your odds up against damn near any team in the American League. I mean, I kind of do want to talk about I wanted to talk about maybe some other teams. But first, before we move on from the Yankees, what do you think about Carlos? What do you think about Garrett Cole coming back? And yeah, I mean, do you think there's any possibility that Fried, is going to have a sort of performance slump like we saw in the middle of summer last year? Do you think, he's going to keep his edge? I don't know.
I think Fried is a guy where, like, there's no pitcher who's, like, great every single time.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Max Fried is pretty damn close.
Yeah.
So, like, this is, to me, an aberration. I think he'll be fine. I think Cole is going to be back soon. And what I have my eye on is, like, okay, Rodon is now back. Cole's going to come back soon, right? Schlittler's going to stay in the rotation. And Fried is going to stay in the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that 5th starter? Who goes to the bullpen? What do they kind of play with there? Because I think we saw, and we've seen clearly over the past few weeks, like, Jake Bird, probably not the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't love what I've seen out of Cruz. I think he's very hit or miss. Doval's been hit or miss. There's a need or a desire to have a little bit more stability out there. And if you could take a guy like Ryan Weathers and turn him into a guy who can come in the 6th inning and do 2 innings worth of work for you, that changes the outlook of this team.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, he kind of profiles as a guy who could maybe do that. I think Luis Gil could be great out of the bullpen, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so you have options, I think, internally here to bolster that, and plenty of runway to experiment a little and figure out what your bullpen looks like to make that determination of, in July, do I need to send out top prospects to go get a Bednar again?
Right.
Or is this a situation where I could take converted starters or guys from the minor league system and really plug the holes in that bullpen? So that's what I'll have my eye on over the next few weeks.
They have some great options. But you do look at, like, I don't know, like, how do you deal with relievers? How do you deal with closers? They're so finicky. Why do you get a guy like Camilo Doval? You knew what you were getting. It's a guy who he's either on or he's off. Is that just the nature of the role? Is that why they are relievers? I mean, like, how do you really get a nailed down relief corps? Like, how do you know when you fucking got it? When you got a championship relief corps beyond just the numbers, where you really know each of those guys when it comes down to that playoff series where it could not be a higher leverage situation. You're not going to get guys that are just throwing shit into the dirt because they have just nerves. They have just the nerves.
So, like, what I've always seen in championship level bullpens, like, beyond basic statistical analysis, right, is you look at guys who are really good at different things. Where it's a guy you have a guy who could start an inning and he'll get you 3 outs no matter where you are in the lineup. You have a guy who just kills lefties or kills righties. You have a guy who's really good at getting ground balls. You have guys who throw from all different arm angles. You have, a guy who has, like, a couple really nasty off-speed pitches. Then you got a guy who throws 101. Like, it's the mix and the variety, but all these guys execute their role really well. The best way I've heard like a bullpen or a relief pitcher is described is it's actually like a starting five in basketball. Every player in a starting five in basketball, there's overlap in skill sets, but you're different people. You have different sizes, you have different makeups, you have different things that you're good at, and then you're able to kind of combine, right, teamwork and do your job that you're assigned to or play to your strengths in a way that helps the team win. It doesn't manifest the same way in baseball because it's more individualized, like you get the ball, it's your moment. But it does work that way where like these guys' skill sets complement each other, where the ability to have someone come out, throw 101, get 3 outs, and then you go to Tim Hill, who's throwing 92 sidearm.
Right.
Like, that is a hard adjustment as a hitter.
Super.
And so that kind of complementary skill set is, I think, what really makes a great bullpen.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like because of those weird quirks, it also limits them as to what they can do, and sometimes they get figured out, or sometimes it just wasn't the right time to deploy them or whatever. But as much as Fernando Cruz's look shaky, like I don't know why I love Fernando Cruz. When he comes out, I feel like literally anything can happen. Like he can get 3 homers back to back off of like his freaky ass breaking ball. What is it? It's like just a nasty splitter basically. Yeah. Or he's just gonna get 3 flyouts and it's gonna be 3-pitch inning. Like I remember in the playoffs when he was just getting like 400-foot flyouts and losing his mind, like just so pumped up. Doesn't care that someone just nearly hit the shit out of the park. Just got the out. Fuck it.
So energetic and so fun to watch for that reason, and makes me so nervous every time he takes the mound.
I love it. Aaron Boone is a psycho for that. I mean, you have to be crazy to and ballsy to manage these teams. But I mean, I have not really been tapped in to Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay Rays, but have you been kind of keeping up with it? It seems like we've been having this amazing season, and then you're like, oh, well, the Tampa Bay Rays have the same record or better.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck?
I think here's like the big difference for me. I think the Yankees have something like a plus 76 run differential. I think the Rays are somewhere in the 20s, right?
Right.
And run differential is not everything, and like certainly there's something to be said about beating up on bad teams, winning close games, this, that, and the other thing, right? Effectively, what the determination that you take out of that statistically is it's essentially given the Rays 4 more wins than they would be predicted to get, right? Which says something about them, but I think it's not sustainable over the course of an entire season to kind of steal games like that.
Right.
And they are a really good team at putting the ball in play, which is a great skill, and we saw Toronto be extremely successful with it. And they're amazing, I mean elite, maybe the best in baseball at bullpen management.
Right.
They put the right guys in the right spots. Kevin Cash has been great at this for years. I don't think that carries you to a division title. Unless they're getting more production out of their lineup, especially extra base hits, home runs, like run production, or better starting pitching, because we know they're not going to make a move at the deadline. They don't have it. They don't do that. They don't go get like the rental or, a big money guy, right? Like that's not Tampa. They need the guys currently on the team to either get way better at starting pitching or way better at slugging without having the bullpen or the contact metrics fall off. Or they'll be a wild card team, or they'll certainly be competitive for the wild card. But I think the idea that they are going to be competitive at the top of the American League the way that they have been early in the season, I just don't see it as sustainable. Because I think they're built on things that are really dancing on a knife's edge, where your margin for error is so thin on that team that, like, if you have a slight blip in your bullpen's performance, all of a sudden, like, you're not just 4 games worse where you are now. You could be 6 games worse. You could be 7 games worse. And then you start getting into, like, okay, this team is really falling off. And, like, that's kind of where I see Tampa heading, is like more down to earth as a team that's like slightly above 500.
Yeah. I definitely see that. But it is interesting just to continue that conversation where, you see the two teams that swept us. It's a lot of bunting. It's a lot of contact. It's a lot of up the middle stuff, putting the ball in play. I don't necessarily think our woes in that department are the same that they were 2 years ago or last year. But Yankees always skew as like a slug-heavy team. What do you think about that in terms of, because I always look back at like the batting averages of like the championship teams, and it's high contact guys, but it was a different time back then in its own way. But there's something to be said for that. I mean, do you truly think that the Yankees need to get that contact, or do you think that they can have a hybrid of some guys that'll do that in the right situation and some guys that, like, how do you feel about that whole dynamic?
The Yankees should never play like the Blue Jays did last year. Like, I get, like, everyone gets obsessed with it, like, when it's well done, but like the Yankees play in a home run ballpark.
Right.
They should try to hit home runs
Right.
and have a lineup that hits home runs.
Right.
Like, that is their path to victory, is being great at pitching and having basically everyone hit home runs.
Right.
You need a couple of guys who could get on base, but like if Grisham and Jazz Chisholm just played to their career average
Right.
of getting on base, we might have the best record in baseball.
Right.
So like, I don't see it. 2 years ago, this was an enormous problem.
Right.
Last year, I felt like they pretty seriously corrected it.
At the deadline, especially, I think, with Caballero and some of this stuff.
Ahmed Rosario,
yeah.
guys like that, like who can like just put the ball in play.
Yeah.
Even McMahon, like he doesn't get on base a ton. He does put the ball in play a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about it any more than I am concerned about the fact that we just have a third of our lineup that is performing below career average.
Right.
And that's the thing that's got to
That's really
change,
what it
and
is.
that's the fix.
Do you think there's psychologically, though, something about playing for the Yankees, something about playing for New York that can take some of these good but not great players and really stifle them? But it's like, at the same time...
These guys have been here, man. They're
Yeah.
not new. The only one who might have that excuse is Ryan McMahon, and like I don't feel like he's not like way below career averages at all.
Right.
He's just not that great a hitter. Sorry,
Yeah, no.
but like the reality is like these guys have been here. Trent Grisham re-signed here.
Right.
He wanted to be here. Like I'm not hearing anything about it's New York or whatever. The only thing I'll give you is it's early season and it's cold, and like that's kind of going away. So when it gets warmer, when you get your reps, when you have your timing down, I want to see production very shortly out of these guys. We don't have a ton of options right now, but when Dominguez gets healthy, like when Volpe starts to produce in AAA, like I want to see these guys get pushed, Jazz get pushed, Grisham get pushed, because at the end of the day, like that is what's like this year is about ruthlessness. We need to be ruthless in our pursuit of winning, and that requires playing the best guys every day and pushing the guys who play every day to be the best versions of themselves.
No, 100%. And I mean, the thing about Grisham that I think people get a lot of noise, and you mentioned it here, Grisham gets on base, he gets the walk and things like that. But yeah, definitely starting to get a little loud for him. 1 for 8 this series, 4 Ks and a walk. Also, Ben Rice, I don't know if he's still injured. This is something no one's talking about.
The thumb.
Yeah, I mean, 0 for 13 with 5 Ks. Average goes from 330 to 306. I'm going to write that off as just his fucking thumb.
And it was due, right? You're facing great pitching in Milwaukee.
Right.
Ben Rice was not going to hit 400 this year, folks.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. It's an unpopular opinion in my house, but I'm sure. And like he's just due, and this is baseball. Like it happens. I think he'll be back. The Yankees, like I've heard from people like inside the Yankees, they truly believe in that front office that Ben Rice can be one of the best hitters in all of baseball.
Oh, Billy, when he hits that ball, it's gone. It's gone. That guy's default is in the seats. Like, I swear, he puts barrel to ball. It's gone unless there's a glove in front of it.
But he can play power alleys too. He can hit for contact. Like, he's just a great hitter, man. And so, like, rough series, great pitching, coming off an injury. Like, I'm not panicking. I'm not panic button. I'm not freaking out. I'm not saying this is who the Yankees really are. I think
no. It's not who they are. If we had another 7-game losing streak, I'd be like, no. What the fuck? Like, I just watched you guys play great baseball. And it's like, I don't know, like, they've gotten – I've seen Jazz hit home runs off 98-mile-per-hour fastballs inside. I mean, these guys can hit. These guys can do it. They're not bums, you know, and I agree. I'm not panicking either. Is there anything we should touch on before we move on from baseball? You know, any other teams you're watching?
I just want to say, I mean, you know, it's a Yankee shout out, and this is going to be a great segue and we talk about next, but City of Philadelphia needs some good news, and they called on a New York Yankee great to do it, Don Mattingly. Like, he has turned that Phillies team around a little bit, where you're now seeing them play decent baseball, and they like certainly wouldn't. But you know, let's get into why Philly might need some good news.
Yeah. So, if you haven't been watching, first of all, how good are these NBA playoffs right now?
I told you. First episode, I told you. I said, if you haven't tuned in years, if you haven't tuned into the regular season, sit your ass down on the couch and watch the NBA playoffs, because we are in for a doozy.
I mean, I know the NFL playoffs are exciting, but the sustained battles for months that we get to watch, it is just... It's unlike NFL. You play one game, it's over. You are watching men fucking physically go to war. Sometimes 7 games against each other every night, and it is just electric so far. Even the first round. What was there? 2 3-1 comebacks in the first round. I mean, It's just been insane.
So that being said, Connor, like, you're not the biggest basketball guy, admittedly. Like, you've been enthralled by this NBA playoffs.
Yeah, 100%.
So why is the city of Philadelphia, as an entire city, not interested in watching?
Right. Their own basketball games at their own home court.
You are supposed to be this great sports town.
Yeah.
I've been told my entire life in the Northeast, oh, nobody cares like Philly fans. Nobody cares like Philly fans. Look how passionate they are.
Right. No, this is so true.
What? You got run out of your own building by the Knicks fans.
I've never seen anything like it.
That was, like, first of all, Joel Embiid came out and called it, it sounded like MSG East. Pick up a fucking map, my dude. It is every direction but east. Every single one. Like, what? What was that comment? But like, you get on TV. I mean, the Knicks fans were holding up signs behind the basket when the Sixers are shooting free throws. They're booing starting lineups. You are supposed to be a great sports town. Just admit to yourselves you only care about football. You're an uglier, colder version of Cowboys fans. That is what that town is.
Wow.
They don't care about these other teams.
Whoa.
They just don't. Philly got double swept. Double swept. The Flyers got swept too.
Wow.
And you got dominated by your regional rival, the city you arguably hate the most, came into your town and said, no, this is ours now, and we're going to play your basketball team off the court.
And Embiid said, this was a win for me after it. He goes, this might have sucked for y'all, but for me, this was a win. Oh, my God, dude. Brunson, 35 points in the first game, 26 in the second, 33 in the third, 22 in the last. He didn't really need to score much in the last fucking game. Because what was it? I mean, how many – I don't even know how many three-pointers it was. in that first half, first quarter.
I think it was 11 threes in the first quarter.
I mean, it's just...
And, like, the other thing is, like, that point total, like, that 35 points basically in 3 quarters in game 1. Because they beat the snot out of them in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching with my friend Murad, and he was like, Jesus, there's 80 points after the first half. They were like 81 points in the first half. They were on track to score like 160, 170
I think
points.
the Knicks have never had a playoff game in which they scored 80 points, and they've had 2 in the last 12 days.
Yeah, it's just absurd, my man.
They have the best net rating in the playoffs. They've objectively been the best team in the NBA playoffs to this point.
Oh, 100%.
Objectively.
I mean,
like the stats, the numbers tell you that.
They're on a 7-game playoff win streak.
How about this, Connor? Here's a stat for you. Those 7 games that they've won since game 3 against the Hawks, right? They won 4 against Philly, 3 against Atlanta. That is the largest point differential in NBA history over any 7-game win streak in the playoffs.
Whoa.
Ever. I mean, you're talking about like 93 Bulls,
right.
The KD Warriors, 86 Celtics, all these teams. Nobody has ever beaten teams this badly over 7 games. Nobody. And I was thinking about it the other day, lifelong New York sports fan. The Knicks are obviously a very tortured side of it, but like I've had success with the Yankees and the Giants over my lifetime. We're not at championship yet. We're not like we're getting there, but we're not there yet. But I can't remember ever any team since the late 90s Yankees dominating early playoff series the way that the Knicks have these past 7 games. It's truly been a treat for such a suffering fan base.
Yes, 100%. I mean, and you can feel it feels like you're watching a fucking movie, dude. I don't know. When you're watching Jalen Brunson play basketball, it feels like you're watching the main character of the fucking movie play basketball. I mean, around some of the size of the guys on the court make him look like a fucking kid running around, bro. He looks tiny out there. And dude, did you see that possession where he hits one off the backboard? And then he falls over, and then in transition they get another steal, throw it to him on the corner, and he hits a 3.
Yeah.
I was just like, this guy is like, to me, I'm already in my mind, I'm like, he's gonna trickle up into like Steph Curry conversations eventually, especially if he wins, if he starts winning, if the Knicks win. I mean, and he does it in dramatic fashion and dominating fashion the way he has. He just has an insane heart for those high leverage situations, for closing a fucking game. He's unreal. I just, it's amazing to watch this team. It's amazing to watch the guys off the bench show up. They didn't have OG Anunoby. They swept them. I mean,
shout out Deuce McBride.
Bro, no one's even talking about OG. It's just a non-issue. That was the fucking Cuban Missile Crisis for a day, and then, we're good.
Now we're good. I mean, how about Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart stepping up? Enormous. Yeah. I mean, these guys they are thieves out there. That ball is never safe. You can't run the pick and roll against them. They fight through screens better than just about anyone I've seen in the NBA playoffs. Like, it is...
His rebounding, Josh Hart, he is a dog. I saw some stat, and it was like rebound records in the playoffs by height, or like how many people have the most rebounds right now by height, and he was like,
it's like 8 7-footers and Josh Hart.
exactly. He's incredible. I saw a post on Instagram today, and it was like, Josh Hart says he drinks like 500 milligrams of caffeine before every game. And he's in the comments going, yeah, that's why I'm going crazy all the time. And I'm like, yo, that's more caffeine than you're supposed to have in a day by a mile.
Okay, let's talk about this. Better than Josh Hart's rebounding, his quotes are unbelievable.
Yes.
Like, Kelly Oubre comes out and says Jalen Brunson's hard to guard because he has a big head. And Josh Hart comments, known facts. Like, Josh Hart came out and they asked him about all the Knicks fans coming to Philly, and he said, "Yeah, I used to think Philly was a sports town. I don't think I think that anymore."
Dude, which is crazy. Which, man, they're gonna remember that if they ever get a chance.
But like him and McHale have been unbelievable, unbelievable. The defense is so good, and that's why, like, I mean, let's go to this second Eastern Conference series. But like, I am so confident as a Knicks fan going into this because OG Anunoby's going to come back. You have the 3 best wing defenders in the series.
Yeah.
You just do. And so, like, I don't see a way that, like, and, like, let's talk about this. Like, the age of the 3-point is over.
Oh, 100%.
The age of these guys just, like, tossing it to the corner, like, 40-foot jump shots, like, games that, like, every team scoring 140. It's over.
Yeah.
Every single team left in the playoffs is a top 10 team in defensive rating in the NBA. Like, that is the key. The Knicks and the Thunder, who are the 2 best looking teams, are 1 and 2 in defensive rating, like, in the playoffs.
I mean, it is a this is the thing about I've never been an NBA regular season fan, but I have so many memories of watching NBA playoffs, and it's especially because of LeBron James. LeBron James, like, we are seeing that with the Lakers, is like you can't just be an offensive juggernaut because one guy's out and then who's guarding? I mean, it's just not that Luka was guarding anybody. I'm just saying, like, you can't just have a bunch of guys who can shoot.
Luka might have problems guarding you, to be honest, but I mean, this is the thing we saw in the Detroit-Cleveland series, right? It's like Detroit loses these games if Tobias Harris doesn't make shots.
Right.
Like, if Cade doesn't carry that team offensively, they struggle. The defense is always there. But you watch what Cleveland's able to do when they throw Mobley and even, like, I mean, give them credit. Like, Donovan Mitchell's played really good defense this series. Like, when they throw those guys, Allen and Mobley, and, like, even with Mitchell and Harden, who are not great defenders, they are able to get the stops they need that make these games really hard. It's hard to win. The Knicks won because of defense. They were getting easy buckets.
Right.
Like, Oklahoma City, I mean, we could get into that series in a bit, but, like, they're winning with defense. Right. Like, Minnesota's winning with defense. You see how good Gobert did on Jokic. You see how he's doing on Wembanyama. Like, they are winning with defense. Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, like, these are great defenders. This playoffs is about defense.
Oh, it is like a mark of a new era. And we were talking about that as early as the first episode, I think, that it's like you kind of have this passing of the torch. This could probably be the last time we ever see LeBron James in the playoffs, let alone a basketball uniform. But, it really is the horizon of a new league. It is a defensive league. It is a tall league. It is if the Spurs Wolves is any indication, a physical league. I mean, like, especially in the playoffs, it's very, very interesting, and it's. I like it. I like defensive basketball.
But even, like, there's even stuff like, and this is always in transition and always kind of we learn new things, right? But, like, even someone like Oscar Thompson on Detroit, who is an all-world defender, never would have developed as a perimeter defender 10 years ago.
Right.
Like, the game changed, and now they figured out how to change it again, where you now have long, lengthy wing defenders who can defend inside, outside, who are versatile, who can move laterally, and who have effectively neutralized what was a skyrocketing number of three-pointers that were going to get taken, where now that is not nearly as efficient a shot because of defense.
Right. And it's a beautiful thing because I got to be honest, like, I think I rooted for Steph Curry for maybe 5 minutes before I hated him. Like, I think it was that one playoff run when they actually won, where I think they were playing against OKC, especially. Maybe it was it the Western Conference Finals?
Yeah, it would have been 16.
Yeah. I think it was. Yeah, I can't remember, but I think I might have been rooting for them even in 2016. And then when the Cavs won, I was just like, I'm just LeBron James. Like, I just can't even be mad at that. But yeah, it was like it was either 2016 or 2015 that I was they were kind of like underdogs. They were like new but really
Newish.
talented.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that, the sort of like reliance on threes, I think, made the league really fucking boring, dude. I think it just made it really boring, and I think you're gonna see it get more exciting as the years go on. But to that point, like the regular season, it has a problem, needs to be figured out. I don't watch it. I don't care. My dad all but taught me, son, you're not supposed to watch basketball until the spring, like until it's, playoff time. But we haven't gotten to I could get to some other series here, but I do want to touch on actually, where do you want to go? I'll go wherever you want to.
I want to lean into this idea. Like, you're talking about threes and how like you rooted for Steph for all of 5 minutes, then you hated him. There is someone in these playoffs and a team in these playoffs where like I'm like earnestly, as a diehard NBA fan, I'm proud of you how much you hate this team and hate this player. And I want to get into it. So Connor, will you tell the people the bane of your existence right now, basketball-wise?
Oh, it's the most boring GOAT of all time, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The most boring, greatest basketball player who ever lived. And it's all the intangibles. Because I'm a performer and actor, I'm like hypersensitive, and I could just pick up.
Well, he's
things.
an actor too. Just look at some of these flops.
Well, we can get into that. But it's also just it's just an intangible thing. I can't stand some of the way he like answers these questions. I saw some video where he's talking about, Michael Jordan to me is the greatest of all time. And it's like very clear like he's a Kobe guy. Like I feel like he hates LeBron James. I feel like he would hate he's more of on the MJ Kobe side of things, which is like kind of the more like, gritty, competitive, mid-range jumper kind of guy, like driving to the basket kind of guy. But that second waking up to the internet after the second game of that of the Western Conference semifinals, where I think there was like, I've never seen a montage of flops from one single game, where it's not only one person doing it, but like 5 or 6 people doing it. But yeah, it's maddening because sports are about I would say it in a more sophisticated way if I could think of it, but they're about physical domination. They're about proving that you are more physically talented and dominant over another team. At the end of the day, the skill, the IQ, and the physical dominance are what make a team win. And they could still be beating these teams without doing all of that annoying shit. And without, just constantly going for a foul. Now, I get it because, if you sit here and push your glasses up and you can figure out that it actually does behoove you to rack up fouls on the other team.
So let me sit here and push my glasses up
please.
Because I want to tell you about, number one, you're right. Number two, the numbers bear that out. Mm-hmm. Over the past 2 seasons, including playoffs, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has more than 400 more free throws attempted than the next most guy. Not average, the next highest guy. Wow. He's taken more than 400. I think it's like 472.
Jesus.
Right, like as of right now. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander averages about 14.8 free throws a game. LeBron, who I've heard called LaFlop more times than I can count, has never averaged more than 7 free throws a game over the course of a season. Wow. James Harden, who is one of the most notorious foul-baiting floppers, who I used to have a saying when I lived down in Dallas, so we used to talk about James Harden ruined basketball. Never averaged more than 10 free throws a game in any given season.
I mean,
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's averaging 14.8. 14.8.
Harden, I feel like he was the type of guy who invented that kind of like the pump fake draw contact kind of vibe. Like
the number of rule changes, like the kick out on the 3, like the number of rule changes of Harden making BS contact with defenders, and then they have to like change the rule to like, number one, make it easier to officiate. Number two, stop this guy from like getting the most nonsense fouls in the entire world. Like, they had to change multiple rules for a guy who's still playing. Like, it's not like he's like old. This is not Larry Bird we're talking about. Like, this guy is like, you know, a 2010s basketball player, right? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is significantly worse. He's worse in the flopping department. It is maddening to watch. Like, I am so thankful that I am not a Laker fan for this series because my television would be broken.
Yeah.
Like, chairs, plates, even.
Right.
Like, I would be livid with some of the calls in this series and just the way that this is officiated. And, like, quite frankly, the way soccer does it, where you like can get a yellow card for simulation, I would literally like to see.
Really?
I would like to see.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, if you flop in soccer and the referee is like, you flopped, he can give you a yellow card.
I was telling my dad that should be an offensive foul. Like when you do the pump fake and jump into contact, that's you fouling someone. Like
I'm beyond that. I don't want an offensive foul. I want a yellow card.
A yellow card.
You do that shit again,
yeah,
we are gonna throw you out of the game.
Yeah.
Period. Like, you want to ruin basketball? You want to talk about, like, the regular season as a problem. This style's not fun to watch. This, that, and the other thing. I think 90% of the NBA's problems in terms of the on-the-court product could be fixed if they stopped the foul baiting by just penalizing people for doing it.
It has become a refined skill in the last 5-10 years. It's become a refined skill. These guys are pissed when they make the bucket and don't get the and one. Like, they are pissed. They are pissed. That is their whole focus, is getting fouls, is getting other players in foul trouble. And you know what? They're fucking dirty, too. You saw what he did to Austin Reeves, clamping his arm down.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you guys are the fucking Bulls, whatever. Why do you need to do all this shit? Like, you're that fucking desperate, like, to play this just disgusting, unethical bullshit where, like, Chet Holmgren or whatever the fuck is, like, falling over and they're, like, cheering from the fucking sidelines. I mean, this is, like, this goes against, like, the very idea of a competition.
Why do you think LeBron's fighting with Alex Caruso every other possession?
Right.
I mean, he's yelling at him because they're playing unethical basketball. It's effective. They're really good. Yeah. They're really good without the bullshit. Mm-hmm. They are. But they're constantly up to the bullshit.
But they are the shit that has been squeezed out of the NBA's ass. I mean, this is the synthesis of everything they've created in the last 10 years. That this is the fucking synthesis of it, is this bullshit. And you have this guy who's going to be the 2-time MVP that you cannot point to a single moment where you're like, wow, that's the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander moment. Remember when he did this? Not a single goddamn moment. I am a pedestrian basketball fan. I would know a moment. I know many things about many sports that I don't watch. We live in the age of clips and archives and highlights. You would have seen something. I don't see a damn moment in the age of moments. He doesn't have a moment. He is this fucking merchant, bro. He's boring as fuck to watch. They're a boring, corny, cringy fucking team. Like, did he wear those glasses and go, Chet, you should get the glasses like this and sit next to me? Like, is that, are we all shopping together? What's going on? Because it pisses me off, bro. The vibes are rancid.
This is what I wanted. This is what I knew it was in there.
I mean, you have the right. You come out of this game, the Lakers are huddling with the officials after, and you're snickering going off to the press conference going, yeah, the most physical team won. You know exactly what the fuck you're saying. You know exactly what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean?
Connor, I couldn't have said it better myself, dude. It's beautiful. The hate that you have for this team is truly beautiful, and it means that you're developing as a basketball fan.
You know what I hate, Billy? You know what I hate, Billy? I hate not being able to root for something great. That's what bothers the fuck out of me. I want to root for them. You know who I get to root for? The Spurs. They're cool as fuck. The Timberwolves, cool as fuck. They're such a cool team, Billy.
Let's talk about that series.
Let's talk about it.
So that series is cool.
You know what?
You nailed it. It's cool.
You know what's fucking cool? Elbowing a motherfucker in the face who's been ripping you for fucking 4 games in a row. That's cool. I don't give a fuck. Elbow him in the face. In the neck. You're lucky it was in the face, you short fuck.
You know what's fucking cool too, dude? You hit a dagger 3 and you dap up the opponent's coach. Shout out Anthony Edwards. What a dog, dude. What a dog.
Bro, he's playing on 2 noodles and heart. I mean, that guy's got no leg. I mean, that guy's playing on fucked up legs. He's not explosive at all. And he is scoring 36 on Mother's Day.
Dude, that guy's got Nordic leg vacuums and a merciful God carrying him through this series.
He's sitting in the fucking Dragon Ball Z hyperbaric chamber in between fucking quarters. Yeah, that is a hell of a series. I wish it was on every night. That's how much fun I'm having watching that series.
It's 2-2. These teams do not like each other. No. You could tell, like, it happened from the jump, too, that they kind of came out and they were like, we think we're better than you, and both locker rooms think that.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
and it's awesome.
Because, like, in the OKC Lakers series, like, you can kind of tell, even in Cleveland, Detroit, you can kind of tell Cleveland feels like they're the underdog. The Lakers know they're the underdog, right? From the very first moment. These two teams both genuinely believe they are better than the other one.
Yeah, they don't care what seed they are. They don't give a fuck.
And, like, Anthony Edwards got some extra juice and has that locker room going. There's, like, some, like, weird, like, the French battle between Gobert and Wembanyama. There's, like, all these American guys being like, we don't like these Europeans, basically. We're not letting them eat our lunch. Like, these guys go hard every night. 2 smaller market teams that maybe don't get the shine everybody else gets. Like, this series is fucking cool,
You got
dude.
2 faces of the league fighting each other, Billy.
Dude.
It's the face of the league series.
It really is.
It's Victor versus Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards never elbowed nobody in the Adam's apple intentionally. Flagrant 2, out of the game, Victor Wembanyama. I could not believe that. He had only scored about 4 points out of the game. And they lost.
And this is a guy, Victor Wembanyama, the difference between him being on the court and off the court is a difference in net rating of 15 points. Wow. The Spurs are 15 points better over 100 possessions with Wembanyama on the court. Like, that is as big a loss as you can have of any team in this entire NBA playoffs, right? And these guys are just going to battle every night. And you've already seen the Wolves beat a team with a great big man without Anthony Edwards. Now they have Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Like, it is I would
crazy.
be shocked if this doesn't go 6 or 7. Like, well, I think it has to go 6 now, right? Like, it's 2-2. So it's going to go 6. Like, I think it's probably going to go 7.
I think it will go 7.
Like, and this is going to be, as a neutral, this has been one of the best series, like, in a great NBA playoffs.
Awesome.
Just unbelievable. Must-watch TV.
Yeah. It is, and it makes you want, I mean, like, how do they capture this in the regular season? How do you get something this, because this could be a budding rivalry here. I mean,
100%.
These are 2 real stars. These are 2 real teams that are, I mean, I don't know. It is fantastic basketball. And the fact that, like, I don't know, like, Jaden McDaniels is like a threat. You know what I mean?
Naz Reid is, like, doing meaningful shit. Stephon Castle is, like, tough as dirt. Like, just goes to the rim completely fearless. Like, it is such great basketball. Both fan bases are into it. The coaches are into it. Like, there feels like there's, like, a desperation to this series of, like, neither of these teams wants to let up an inch in any given game, and it's just such compelling theater.
Yeah, and like, Anthony Edwards from a career standpoint, it reminds me of, like, a MJ, early MJ, or like a LeBron, where it's just like, it's just one really good player, and he doesn't give a fuck what team he's on. He's just trying to fucking win.
Well, the other thing is like, I think it's really underrated, like, because he's a talented young 2-guard, right? Everybody compares him to, like, Michael Jordan, right? Like, you always get Jordan, Kobe. Anthony Edwards is a way better shooter than any of those guys. I'm not saying he's a better player,
right?
But, like, you need a 3-pointer on an inbounds. Anthony Edwards can get it for you.
Yeah,
like, he's that good.
Yeah,
like, from long range, and so, like,
he's a problem.
It is going to be, like, he is very underrated when you talk about these like future of the league conversations, in my opinion, where like it feels like
you've
everybody
got the circus freak over here.
Yeah,
It's hard to ignore.
and you have a white guy in Cooper Flag. And so everybody gets excited about that, like, quite frankly. But like Anthony Edwards, and to a certain extent too, Cade Cunningham, as good as anybody.
Yeah.
As good as anybody. And like, I think these guys are going to be playing in these dogfight playoff series for a decade.
Oh, 100%. This is not going to be the last crazy playoff series. Yeah, because it's just so much young, impressive talent. Yeah, man. Because, like, in this scenario that the Spurs do lose this, which
could happen.
And if that happens, Wemby, that is the most canon event shit of all time.
This is a best of 3 series now.
Yeah. 100%. And I would not. I would be scared if I was the Spurs. I'm not gonna lie, because the later it gets, and we'll talk about the Cavs thing too, because it just seems like the later it gets, just the more the advantage starts to slip to the other side. I would kind of be interested to see the Timberwolves versus OKC. That might be interesting. What would you think of that match? I mean, I don't think they would win, obviously, but what would you think of that matchup?
I'll be honest, I hate it for the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
I do. Like, I hate it because I think OKC plays into all of their weaknesses, right? Where Minnesota's not super long, right? They're not like, they don't have like a great, they're not great at defending the perimeter. I think they're very much like a rhythm team where it's like getting into the balance of their offense really helps them. I think you saw it last night with the way that they were able to, like, especially down the stretch, just like get into a rhythm where they're making shot after shot after shot after shot, right? Able to kind of run their sets. OKC takes you out of that. They just don't allow it. Where the flip side of that is like San Antonio, I think, is probably the only team that has the size to cope with OKC.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, I want to see that head-to-head. I want to see Chet versus Wemby. I want to see Stephon Castle and Linton Vassell try and, lock up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right? Like, that's, I think, the series. But that being said, would Anthony Edwards be the best player on the floor in a series against OKC? Because I think he might be. And, like, the history of the NBA is a history of the best player on the floor wins.
Yeah, and you know what? This guy, Anthony Edwards, seems to really come alive when he's playing against a guy everyone thinks is better than him.
Oh, he loves it.
I think he loves that. I think that's why this series is partially so explosive. You got a guy with no fucking legs who's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not only injured, I'm gonna fucking outplay this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it's very exciting, the prospect of where he's gonna develop, or what he's going to develop into. All these guys. Let's talk about the Cavs Pistons series. You got James Harden making a statement fourth quarter, keeping the series 2-1. And as you talked about, your observations are that Cade Cunningham is kind of like a power vacuum. It's like if you don't have him on there, it gets scary fast.
He's a superstar. Like, he's a bona fide superstar. He's, I think right now, I have to look at it, but I think right now he's probably a top 10 player in the league, like, pretty comfortably, if not top 5, arguably. They don't have a whole lot else that's been, like, super reliable all playoffs, right? I think you saw it in the Orlando series, and, like, I think it's going to be a problem all playoffs. And, like, that's the difference between the regular season and the playoffs. Is like, in the regular season, you're going to get nights where, like, Tobias Harris can carry you. You're never getting that in the playoffs. You need, like, if Cade is a great player. He is a volume shooter. Cade shoots below 50% from the field in the playoffs. He's got to take a lot of shots. He never makes at an efficient clip. So if you force him to take more shots because you're saying, hey, Duncan Robinson and Tobias Harris, you're not touching the ball. We're not letting you get it inside to Duren. We're not letting you run those pick and rolls. You beat us ISO, Cade Cunningham, ISO. And it's a lot of the ways people, like during the unsuccessful Lakers years, that's how people defended Kobe, right? Where you had, hey, take your 40. You're gonna score 35 a game, no problem.
Right.
Nobody else is gonna score.
right.
And so like that's the problem is like it's the opposite of the Knicks or OKC where that scoring burden is spread out. If Brunson doesn't have it one night, if SGA doesn't have it one night, that's okay. We'll go to Chet. We'll go to Jalen Green. We'll go to Bridges or Cat or whoever, right? There is no real second option on the Pistons.
Yeah.
And the Cavs have guys, you saw it, who can make shots. James Harden can make shots. Donovan Mitchell can make shots. You can go to them in the fourth quarter. They like James Harden, for all of his flaws, can be a true second option. Does that win them the series? I don't think so.
Right.
But I think they're going to push them. And I think it's like a big watch out for Detroit because we've seen it over and over and over again. You get a guy who has a breakout season. He's finally a top seed in the playoffs. Maybe he wins one. And then the wheels fall off. Because what they realize is, hey, if we either just stop everybody else or don't let that guy score and let everybody else beat us, one of the two, they usually, these NBA coaches, a lot smarter than me, they figure it out. Like, you get that, and all of a sudden, like, these teams aren't as dangerous. They're not able to do the things that they were doing in the regular season. Like, that's kind of how I see Detroit. Is like, unless I see a big change over these next 4 games where they're able to spread the ball out a lot more, I think it's pretty cut and dry of just, hey, make Cade take more shots. Don't let the other guys shoot. Don't let him get open. Just let him go. And, like, if they beat you because Cade Cunningham scored 60 points, sure, I'll live with that.
Right.
But I think this team is, like, imminently beatable with Cade Cunningham scoring close to 30. And, like, that's not a recipe for a team that's, like, going to be super competitive. They have to make roster changes in order for this to, like, really come into fruition, but they are on the right track.
What team do you think poses a bigger threat then to the Knicks? Do you think it's the Cavs or the Pistons still?
I think it's the Pistons still. I think the Cavs are actually, like, a really bad matchup for New York because when you think about it, like, we can throw this kind of 3-headed monster of wings at whatever guard they have, and we've beaten Donovan Mitchell many times before. And then who do they have who's going to guard Brunson? Like, I think a big advantage like that Philly had, especially like Barlow was good at guarding Brunson. I mean, he got his points, but like he was good. Like, I think Atlanta did a really good job guarding Brunson with the variety of guys that they threw at him. Like, you're going to have Donovan Mitchell guard Jalen Brunson? Jalen Brunson's going to score 50 points. Like, I don't know who you have guard him. Whereas, like, with the Pistons, like, they have guys. They have bodies who they could throw at Brunson and make us beat you with other guys. And the other part of it is, like, Jalen Duren can guard Cat. Like, I think, like, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, like, you want to pull those guys out of the paint to guard Cat? Be my guest. Again, Jalen Brunson will have 50. Mikal Bridges will have 25. They will get to the rack, no problem. Like, because you'll be able to pull them out. Like, I think Detroit just matches up way better and swept the Knicks in the regular season. So that's a team I'm way more afraid of. But ultimately, like, I think the Knicks are playing the best basketball in the Eastern Conference right now.
Oh, 100%. I really do think so. Just to round this out, where do you see this going? I mean, let's look ahead maybe a little bit. We've got let's see. Tonight it is, I believe, game 4 of the Cavs, right? I think it's game 4 of the Cavs Pistons. We'll see where that goes, and then at 10:30 our time, it's the Lakers. I almost said the last game, the 4th game of the Lakers OKC series. It would be hilarious if they won one game.
I think the Lakers are going to win tonight.
You know what?
I do. Yeah, I think they're going to win.
I don't know about that. You really think so?
I do. Yeah, I do. I think they're going to get the gentleman's sweep tonight, and like, I think they'll lose game 5 and like ultimately go home. But like, LeBron really doesn't get swept, and like this is I believe the biggest underdog he's ever been in his entire career tonight. Like, I think he's going to do it, and then
that would be fun to see them at least lose one game.
I think the Detroit Cavs series, I think Detroit in 6 is my prediction.
Gotcha.
So I think Detroit wins tonight. I think they lose the next one, and then I think they finish it off.
And I'm thinking that the Spurs still win this, but I think that's
I think the
more of a
Spurs still
toss-up
win
than
this,
people
but
realize.
I think it's going to be a 7-game series.
Yeah, I think it'll be. It has a chance to be the craziest series of the playoffs. I could see that happening because, yeah, I mean, God forbid, but I mean not God forbid, but let's say the Timberwolves win. That is, the rest of this is not so crazy. I mean, what do you think about Knicks OKC in the finals? What do you think about that?
I think it's a closer series than people think. And I think we saw Indiana push this almost identical OKC team to 7 games last season.
That's what I keep thinking about.
And, like, I think this current Knicks team is better than that Indiana team from last season.
100%.
Like, so you get in the finals. I think it's anyone's ball game. There's no dominant team. And, like, that's what we kind of said. Like, there were this season in the NBA.
You don't think OKC dominates this playoffs?
No, because I think they're going to get in the Western Conference Finals, and I think it's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah.
I think there's haves and have-nots. Doesn't OKC has what, 1 loss? Or they haven't lost yet?
I don't think they've lost yet.
We'll see. But I think there's haves and have-nots in the NBA. But I really don't see it as like those Warriors years where they were just super dominant, nobody could touch them, or the Lakers or the early 2000s. Right. Like I don't see it that way. I think it'll be competitive.
It will.
And so I cautiously optimistic and roll the balls out and let's not get ahead of ourselves. But I want to see these next few games and see where we net out.
Well, it's been an incredible playoff series so far, and we're going to keep watching, but we'll move on now to, I think you wanted to talk about a little bit of UFC or a little hockey, or what do you...
Let's talk UFC, Connor.
Okay.
I know this is not your favorite thing, but...
I love the UFC. I am morbidly fascinated by it, though, and that's more than enough for discussion. What's got your attention this week in the UFC?
We had a numbered event, formerly pay-per-view title fight this weekend. Khamzat Chimaev, who is a Chechen national wrestler, just been the boogeyman in the middleweight division for a while. 16-0, undefeated. Goes up against a guy by the name of Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland is
he's a character.
He's a character. He had won the middleweight title before. Raised by neo-Nazis, like quite literally raised by neo-Nazis, yes.
Okay.
Abusive family, everything.
Rough.
A little bit uncouth, I would say. Not the most politically correct guy, to be kind.
That's true.
But red-blooded American fighting against the Russian, classic like Rocky movie type stuff. I mean, the fact that like Sean Strickland, who is like a guy who's
does accurately represent America,
but like kind of defined by like Walmart t-shirts and hate speech like throughout his UFC career, comes in there and is fully the babyface in this matchup. Like
it's hilarious.
Like 100% the crowd's behind, like USA chants, like the whole thing. And he comes out and, like, he at one point, I mean, Khamzat Chimaev is a guy who, like, literally first minute of the fight takes you down, takes your back, chokes you out, or ground and pound or something like that. And Sean not only weathered that storm, but at one point got on top of him, like, was kind of out wrestling him or out maneuvering him at points, ends up winning a split decision.
Whoa. Very
close fight. Very close. But the thing that's interesting about that is, number one, Sean Strickland is an interesting character in a sport that's been dying for an interesting character for the past few years. He's an American English-speaking champion in a sport that is really at a loss for them, especially on the male side, right?
Right.
And you had a really great fight against a guy who nobody thought you could beat. Like, it was the first time in
exciting
years, I would say, that I was like, this is a compelling fight and compelling storyline for neutrals, for people who are like not big fight fans, casual kind of tuning in, whatever. Like, this was fun, and this was interesting, and it was compelling, and it was good theater. And then the second part of that, which is like nice momentum building into the weekend, on Netflix on Saturday, we are going to watch the return of one Ronda Rousey to the MMA cage against Gina Carano, the champion who was there before Ronda, who is like the pioneer of women's MMA.
Wow.
You're going to see Francis Ngannou, who was UFC champion, walked away, never lost the belt in the cage. If you go back and watch his highlight reel, Connor, heavyweight champion from Cameroon, one of the scariest individuals I've ever seen in any cage. I mean, putting guys' mouth guards in the 6th row on uppercuts type of thing. Great highlight reel, Francis Ngannou. And then
I'm vaguely familiar, yeah.
Third, really fun fight. Nate Diaz of Conor McGregor fame, of Diaz Brothers Army fame, Stockton, California, is going to return to MMA to fight one Mike Perry, who was in the UFC and has spent the last, I believe, 3 years becoming the champion of bare knuckle boxing.
Oh, they have that on on Yes Network.
Extremely tough guy, great fighter. Those 3 fights alone are worth your time Saturday night on Netflix. Like, highly recommend. I'm interested to see what Netflix does. They're talking about building a competitor to the UFC potentially, but this is not the UFC.
Interesting. Is this like one of those Paul Brothers promotions?
Yeah, so it's MVP, which is Jake Paul's company, but all these guys are like pro fighters.
Wow, look at
There's
them.
no influencers or anything on this. This is like a true competitive product to the UFC.
No, I know, but look at that. The Paul Brothers are trying to make their own UFC. That's crazy. Because you've got Logan on WWE all the time now, and that kind of exposure is crazy. I mean, and honestly, that's what people want. They want to be entertained. They just want to be
an entertainment product.
They just want to be entertained. It's almost like it's become too niche where you have so much grappling now. I think we've talked about this.
Yes.
That it's like you have to be like an expert to be into it, and what people really want, and I mean, it's why WWE remains popular, is because people like the physicality, they like the show of it, but they also, it's entertainment, it's a narrative. They want a narrative, they want something,
And that's, to me, like I brought up before, but like that's the challenge with the UFC. Is like there's no storytelling, there's no narrative. They don't educate you on the grappling. They don't tell you what to look for and what to be interested in, like the way that they would like on, any baseball broadcast or basketball broadcast, where they do try and make you a little bit smarter. And like, I really think it's because there's been no competition at all for a decade, at least.
They're Ted Turnering MMA, and I support it.
Yeah, so I'm fascinated to watch this.
By the way.
Yeah, rest in peace, Ted Turner. Billionaire Ted, rest in peace. But I'm fascinated to see this card on Saturday. And I think
I'm
it should
have to
be
check that out. Is Max
interesting.
like Kellerman doing this shit for that too?
I don't think so. I think he's pretty aligned with the UFC because he does the Zuffa boxing.
Oh, okay.
Which is run by Dana. I'm not sure who's doing the commentary.
He was doing the Tyson fight or something like that.
He did Paul Tyson.
Yeah.
But he's a boxing guy. He's not an MMA guy.
Okay. Well, that's kind of interesting. I might have to check that out because that sounds like shit people actually would like be excited for. And I also saw there was like a Shane Gillis roast. Like Netflix is doing big events now. I didn't even know that was going on. Or a Kevin Hart roast hosted by Shane Gillis. But
highly recommend the Draymond Green segments from that Kevin Hart roast. Really good.
I still have to watch it. I missed some of it. But I think that's really fascinating. The Paul brothers as like millennial businessmen are fascinating to me because they started on Vine, then they went to YouTube, and then they're like, what they are now. And they're such like scammers, grifters, but they're so successful and kind of insightful in the scams that they do and come up with that, I could see them very easily outflanking UFC because even hardcore UFC fans are really bummed with the product these days. I have an admission. I have not been keeping up with this hockey playoffs, but I know I've just been hearing it's kind of crazy.
It's been crazy. So
I don't know how. By the way, when do you physically watch? Are you physically watching hockey?
Yeah.
On one of your Morgan Freeman from the Dark Knight.
Yeah. That's how I'm able to watch everything.
Yeah,
is I have Morgan Freeman from the Dark Knight set up, and I'm like watching everything everywhere all at once. I'll give you your quick rundown on hockey. The Philadelphia Flyers, turns out, stink. They got swept 4-0 by Carolina. None of the games were that close. Carolina is the slowest, most physical team in the league, so it's like a really boring brand of hockey.
Oh.
You were right to skip those.
Okay.
The team we've been watching. Remember last week we talked about the President's Trophy curse with the Colorado Avalanche?
Yes.
So they're up 2-1 on the Wild. They were up 2-0, and I believe it was Saturday night, the Wild smoked them. Like 6-2.
Momentum shift.
Little momentum shift when the series came back to Minnesota.
Okay.
So I believe that game
that tends to happen in Minnesota.
Yes. See, the momentum shifts. But the people of Minnesota, God bless them, they had 2 T-Wolves games and a Wild game this weekend. Like, pray for those livers.
Yeah,
100%. But the Wild, I believe the game's tonight. They could swing this series and swing the momentum back in their favor. Montreal against Buffalo. I told you, this is a battle of the 2 best fan bases in the sport.
Yeah.
I believe this series is 1-1. Montreal had it might be 2-1. It's 2-1 Montreal now. Unbelievable game last night out of Montreal, who destroyed Buffalo. It's like 6-3, I think the final was.
Whoa.
Which is
hockey, the integers are going up.
Yeah.
6 goals you don't see that.
And then Vegas is playing the Mighty Ducks. And they're up 2-1 in that series. Admittedly, I have not watched 1 second of that. Those games are on late, and there's only so much. Yeah. But I have my eye big time on that Colorado Minnesota series because of that President's Cup curse, and then the Montreal Buffalo series. I mean, these buildings are rocking.
Yeah,
like Roman Coliseum type of shit.
And they're close games.
Oh, they're good games. They're close games. It's been a fun watch. That's sure.
Awesome. Yeah, man. I mean, fucking go Sabres, I guess, or go Montreal. I don't know. Which of those do you actually root for?
I'm gonna root for the Sabres. Mm-hmm. I have quite a few friends who are Buffalo fans. Tage Thompson is one of their best players. He was an Olympic hero for us for USA. Buffalo is in New York, even if it's like a 10-hour drive from here or whatever. I'm gonna go with the Sabres, but. This is the time of year where if they get knocked out, I'm going to be perfectly okay. And I kind of every round pick each team that I'm rooting for. So I'm excited for them. I really want to see the Minnesota fans, which is the most suffering fan base in the entire country. I want to have them have something to believe in. Yeah. So I would really like to see the Wild, take that home and see a Sabres Wild Stanley Cup we can kind of all feel good about.
Hell yeah. Oh, man. I love it. And thank you for tracking all this stuff. Oh, my God. How great is Billy, folks? Thank you so much for watching. Contact@imightknowball.com is the email address. I don't know if we've been getting emails, to be frank. You guys are leaving comments and engaging and liking and sharing the shit, so we appreciate that. But feel free to email. I kind of liked when, podcasts or radio shows would read, long letters that we're sending. You don't have to write a long letter, but feel free, because that's a segment I'd like to do. Thank you so much for watching. What did you think of the new angle? What do you think of we have the sort of conversation tracker on screen now. What do you think of that? We love your feedback, positive and negative, unless it's really negative, and then I'll just block you. But, it was a great episode, and, some really just good sports happening right now. And as usual, it was a pleasure to talk about it with you, Billy.
Connor, this was phenomenal. Just truly... an existential religious experience to sit here and talk to you about sports. So thankful to do it every week.
Yes.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.
See you next time, everyone. Thanks, Billy.